am Hal Gill, your host for Harrowings Live. And who else have we got? Harriet, you're here. Simona, you're here. Good to see both of you, and looking forward to talking to Harriet in particular later. Lost Vibes 100, part of my board of directors, meaning he's a paying subscriber of Harrowings, which keeps us going, barely. I mean, I'm making probably enough to cover a day's expenses as opposed to anything that would support me year round. Which begs the question, what would it take? I think if my 600 plus subscribers all were paid subscribers, like it's $8 a month, I think is what they ask. Then a slice of that goes to Substack. So let's say it's $6 to come to me of that 8. What is that? It's not too bad. I think that's $36,000 a year. Or am I wrong? Is my math off? My math's off, isn't it? By what? 36,000 a year. Or am I wrong? No, no, 3,600 a month times 12. So what's that? You can actually save money by subscribing for a year. And, that helps Substack stay alive too, which is needed, I think. I don't know how well Substack is doing revenue-wise, but it's a lovely platform in a lot of ways. I mean, there's great potential for it to screw up. One thing I've noted is it's got AI running in the background, doing things for us. I like that personally, but I've been listening a lot to my friend Julia out in Santa Monica, and her misgivings about the whole thing. Particularly, I think she's referring to chatbots and image generation, generative AI. Agentive AI? Not sure I'm really down with that either, but it's something to think about. Somebody lost a bumper here. That's a little bit of documentation of a story there. Well, a gentleman like me for a walk. Lovely breeze blowing. Really windy. And this was my plan. Let's go by this edifice, which I believe belongs to the Chinese embassy, to house the embassy staff. Not positive of that, but I think so. Ooh, that closed sidewalk on this side? Looks like they might have. There's a tree work, maybe? Can't really tell. There seems to be a ban in the way of the sidewalk. So I'll walk down this side between the barriers, looking across the Taft Bridge. My aim today, by the way, my destination is Silver Diner, where I'm going to meet my friend Ryan, who I've never met in person before. I'm going to be meeting face to face first time. Sure, we could come down. We met the first place because I'm not sure who that was. Have you talked to me? Because you moved my lunch corner back from noon to 1, and I think we'll be able to wrap it in an hour or less. Usually I get it down to Silver less time than that. Maybe and about when we go on. I like to be in the bunker where I have a laptop at hand when I talk to people on the Harrowings podcast area. And the reason is I like to look up stuff we're talking about, fact check myself on things. Even though I don't find anything on the internet all that reliable, I know that AI is not that reliable, and I know I'm an unreliable narrator of my own life. At least I know that. So no, I'm not a great dancer. Now what's going through my head is a song by U2, and one thing leads to another. That's the fix, not U2. But you get the point. Bouncing from thing to thing. That's a danger. I like to try to stay on the thread my folks are on, and I found that when I had Jennifer Ann Haddock, your guest as well, on last week, she was really good keeping on topic. talking about behaviorism, talking about the practical application of behaviorism, the challenges involved in particular as she tries to help those who are neurodivergent and those who have to be mindful of divergence, right? Now we're all in this together, folks, and we need to be conscious and aware of each other's, wonderful variety. Judging it as good or bad, I just think it's full of wonder. That was one reason I had Sophie on recently. I don't know if you can hear me over the wind because it's really whipping through here. Oh, my gale. I had Sophie Burnham on, and her book is called Wonder and Happiness of Being Old. I think a lot of us talk about the being old, and possibly is what else can I say about that? She actually titled it "The Wonder and Happiness of Being Old." Actually, and I think there's a lot of value in that word "being." Embracing, yes, I have survived chronologically to be here now. I am still that imp inhabiting this body and, sending out my impressions from within this incarnation. I've never seen mind without body, though. So it's an integral, holistic unity of sorts, or a bundle of sensory impressions routed through my cortex to drive the muscle impulses and action of my lungs as I produce the phonemes going into this apparatus that then takes those things and turns them into vectors, little chunkings, and runs them up against a vector database to pull information out. And it'll do a fine job of that. It'll actually title the clips that'll be generated from this. Substack, yes, it's a good platform, I believe. It is a platform. Good, bad. Well, it depends on how we use things, right? And how we view those things. Who's to say? The ripple effects of the actions of all of us taken together have led to the world we are co-creating and have created up to this point. This is the way I see things. I could be wrong. I might have a completely different experience. I don't know. One of the things I was talking to the everyday junglist about, Jennifer's the everyday behaviorist. The everyday junglist is a molecular microbiologist. And in his work and life, he's encountered near-death experience of his own, or of his life in his work. And they didn't know what it was, but he survived. Most people don't. He wasn't sure he had. I had a very similar experience. It was a heat stroke kind of thing. And for weeks after that, I would awaken with the awareness that I very well may have died, and this might be the last nanosecond of consciousness, stretching out a scenario of what my life would have been had I lived. Could be true from the time I had pneumonia in 1996. But what's interesting about the pneumonia episode was how I would go to sleep and have dreams that would last months. So much detail, so much living, and space of 15 minutes. I'd wake up and the clock would have moved 15 minutes. But in my mind, I had lived literally months. There's a Star Trek episode along those lines in The Next Generation where Picard goes into a situation where he lives a whole lifetime. And it's very real to him. At the end of it, he picks up a tin whistle and plays a tune that he knew from that life, which was not real. It all played out in his consciousness. And of course, he had the good fortune of being or the fortune of being told in by the Ford. It's so hard not to use good and bad in the course of talking about things. Let's see, I'm going to hop over this, pulling a hose across the street. Not sure what for. Doesn't matter to me. Oh, I guess that's probably one of those traffic things that counts the number of cars crossing the bridge. It's happening behind me. There's a truck. On the scooter. Girl, she's a woman. Why do we use the diminutive? That might be something we get into talking about when Harriet's on later. Is anybody talking to me? No, not yet. Hood KSM is on. Tracy Matthew, Harriet, Paul K, Simona, Harriet. And I think the other was on before that, may have left. Oh, no. Can't always see. No, some folks up top. Cassie Beachy 3, Lost 5's 100. Okay, good to have you all with us. I'm going to continue moving down to 75% power. So I may just call this the bridge edition. Cut this and save the power because I don't want to run out before we're on at 2 o'clock area. I have to grab a cab or a lift or something to get back in a timely manner so I can have a charge. I'll do that. People change their plans. I'm pretty accommodating. I'm pretty flexible. But it's slightly impolite when we do that. But I'm okay. Oh, yeah. It's coming down for us. It's always good to see other human beings moving through space, time, and wonder if you want me, you can find me. Wondering about you. Suzanne Vega song from 16 Candles, was it? Or Pretty in Pink? Pretty in Pink, I think. Molly Ringwald's film. My wife modeled herself on Molly. Didn't do a bad job either, my Western PA girl. A picture of her in her high school yearbook. Makes me just sort of sorry I didn't know her then, back in the day. But now I'm here, and I don't think we might have gotten along then anyway. We have to have a thick skin around Lynn. She's apt to tell you exactly what she thinks, and she's not likely to sugarcoat it. I find that really helpful. Capital brochure, House of Abundance. A note about that next to McDonald's and MT&T Bank. It's a metro entrance there. You can actually hop the metro to Cleveland Park. That's not a good idea. I always forget that I've got metro options. Anyway, it is what it is. I can get back faster if I take the metro. And there's good connectivity on the metro now. You don't lose it in the tunnels. That's very helpful. What else do I want to talk about? I've walked another block beyond where I said I could cut it off. And this is kind of energy hog. I've lost 5% power already. So we're going to wrap it up. If you've been on the passing show for this far, remember this is just a little bit of raw journalism. Who, what, when, and where. October 20th, 2025. Every cent we spend is a vote for the kind of world that we, collectively, are co-creating. Be the change you want to see in the world, folks. And thanks for joining once again.